Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Chefie Talks. Today, I'm going to be talking about what kind of characters I play in role playing games. Um, and not really like what they play. If you just saw the door open behind me, my dog just walked out. It's not because I have a haunted house or anything. But, anyways, so it's not really the gameplay aspect of how I play them. Like, it's not really the tactics or the moves or the spells that they have. Because generally, I play the freaking supporting role, I guess you could call it. I generally don't play something that uh, has a lot of spells, or they're not very physically fit, or they're not sneaky like a rogue. So I'm going to start out with World of Darkness because I haven't really played too much of World of Darkness. Um, Generally, whenever I play a character, though, I kind of, and I know the point of D&D and role playing games in general is to get out of your role and make someone totally different from you. But for acting purposes and the just way I like to play in general, I like to do a role playing more than I like to do like a hack and slash kind of game. So I'd rather talk to people more than I'd rather attack people. Um, don't get me wrong, I do like to get into a little tussle every now and then. I have my mic a little bit further away from my mouth because last time, whenever I was raging, it was extremely loud. So hopefully this will help a little. So I like to play the stereotypical, talking to everybody kind of person. So starting out in World of Darkness, um, I made a couple of different kind of characters, but I'm gonna go through the three classes that I've played, which is the hunter, the and I don't know the names of the like classes that you can play. Uh, like I don't know the classes of werewolves or the clans of werewolves or anything like that. The only one I know is the vampire. But generally, uh, whenever I'm playing a human, I like to play. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sure one of my friends will tell me down in the comments. But it's the humans that uh, like to know more things or know like have more knowledge than most people. I think it's like what is it? Not future teller, but something like that. But anyways, I like to play something like that, but I don't really like play it like a normal person would, I guess, because I'm more about like traveling around and gaining knowledge on the monsters more than fighting them, which I mean that is part of how they are. But then again, um, like I like talking to everybody around as well. Like not even just about monsters, but about just random stuff. I haven't played much of World of Darkness. Like I've probably got one game into each one, and hardly any of them were very long. But hopefully that will all change soon. uh, the most thing that I've played is I think I played Vampire the most, but I may have played Werewolf the most. But anyways, so off the Hunters because I've only played a couple sessions of Hunters. Um, the next thing is I'll go with the Wolf Clan next. There's a Wolf Clan. I don't know what it's called, but they like art and music, and you know, uh, like they tell stories around campfires. They're pretty much like the bards in D&D, and that's what I like to play. I never really got to get into that part of it whenever I played it, but and this is another thing about my characters. There is always something different about the characters. Whether it's a weird hairstyle, whether it's they freaking play a weird instrument, or, whatever. It's always something kind of strange. So, with this character, he wasn't a werewolf, he was a werefox. Um, which, as far as our knowledge goes, my group's knowledge goes, in any of the books that we have, there wasn't any werefoxes that I know of, and so my DM kind of had to make up some stats and rules for the werefoxes and stuff. I think he went off the stuff for the were dingo or coyote or something like that, which is close enough to me. But anyways, so that character is kind of the loner and all that good stuff. So he wasn't like one of my stereotypical characters where he was outgoing and everything. But the vampires, they're probably one of my uh, biggest things, mainly because of one class. I played two vampires that I remember really good. One of them was this, tough and gruff roadie. A lot of my characters have to do like in the World of Darkness campaigns. They usually have something to do with like either being in a band, part of a band, or like following a band around, being a roadie, all kinds of stuff. So this one, I was a roadie, and I don't know how I did the accent, but somehow I made myself sound like Beetlejuice, the Tim Burton's Beetlejuice. So I was uh, like I'd be walking around and stuff, and like telling people to like there was a guy in the back doing drugs, and freaking this girl was doing drugs and stuff, and she was getting a tattoo from the guy all at the same time, and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, "Hey man, I need you to freaking do this, blah blah blah." And I don't know how to even explain it, but he was probably one of the more fun vampires that I've played, just because he was like something that I normally wouldn't play, which is like the tough and gruff kind of mean sounding guy, and kind of has the mean attitude, and really doesn't give an F about anything. So usually I don't play that kind of character. Usually I'm kind of compassionate, but that campaign I wasn't. Now another campaign that I wish I could have played a little bit more of was it was a campaign where I was a Malkavian, which if you don't know what a Malkavian is, pretty much they are insane. Like if you try to read like a piece of paper that just like has someone's name on it, it's probably going to come out like zigzags and a smiley face at the end, or a rainbow coming out of a donkey's butt or something. If you look at the piece of paper, and it's all kinds of stuff like that for them. So my guy's thing was he was a normal guy usually, so he'd be walking around, whatever. He was a normal vampire guy, and he drank blood and all that good stuff. And then, oh yeah, I have another vampire that I can tell you guys about. But anyways, then uh, like he'd be looking around and like something would trigger something, and he would think he was a superhero. I don't remember the superhero's name or anything like that, but he thought he was a superhero, and he freaking had a sidekick, and he had like a donkey and stuff like that he talked to, and it was just hilarious. It was really fun to play him. Um, but then I had another vampire that I only got to play the beginning of it. I didn't really get to play any of the other stuff, but he was another more serious kind of. A lot of the World of Darkness, I'm more serious than I am in D&D and stuff. Um, but anyways, the other vampire, the one that I haven't talked about yet, he was like one of the first settlers in the New World, talking about America and everything, and he was one of the first colonists to start colonizing. Well, he wasn't, but his parents were, because this is all before he got turned into a vampire. Well, uh, he his family was one of the first colonists to live in New Orleans, and or New Orleans, however you want to pronounce it, Nolans. It's a bunch of ways. But anyways, so his family kind of was the first ones there. They were very established, and my guy was a gator hunter, and him and his friend went out and was gator hunting and stuff like that. And uh, his friend, I think he got killed, and I got bit by a vampire and taken back to a cave. Well, whenever I came out of it, I was coming back to town, and there was like a raid going on there, and so I was trying to break it up, and my wife at the time friggin' was getting pretty much about to get raped and everything, and so I went in there and killed the people and all that good stuff, and then she called me a monster, and I went off and I was solemn for the rest of my life. So, anyways, until modern day happened. Uh, so the more fun characters that I've made have been in D&D. So, and this is actually where I pretty much got my nickname, or my YouTube name now, Chefie. Uh, So I made a character back in the day, very first character that I ever made, and I named him Chefie. And it was Chefie, and I can't remember anybody else's name except for there was a kobold in the party named Wilford, and he was the best person ever. He didn't do any good moves or anything. All he did was burning hands or whatever. and he would do like 1d4 damage to like one person every once in a while. And but he was amazing. He had, how did we describe it? I think it was like his voice was like thunder velvet or something, lightning velvet or something like that. So it's like listening to Morgan Freeman all the time, pretty much. So, anyways, we had this party. We had a paladin, we had a fighter. His wife was a rogue, and then we had the kobold, and then there was me, which was a bard. Pretty much all my characters. I made a wizard. A I made a couple of different characters, but 9 times out of 10, I'm making a bard. Not because, like I said, not because of what they can do as far as spells go, because they don't. They have a okay list of spells, but they don't have that many to choose from compared to a wizard or a sorcerer. And then they're not very physical, so it's not like they can go and, excuse me, sorry, punch a hole through a freaking wall or anything. Um, I mean, I had my music to fall back on. Uh, and since it was my first campaign, the Dungeon Master did make us a little bit more OP, so this guy was a little bit OP. Like, we ended up being deities in the end. But, anyways, um, there was, what was I about to say? Crap. Anyways, so they can't punch holes through walls. They can't do anything like that. That they're not good enough to be a rogue. They're not good enough to be a fighter. They're not good enough to be a healer. They're not, they're pretty much the jack of all trades, but king of nothing. So the main reason that I played them was for the theatrics of it all. Like, I would get myself in some crazy situations. Like, the most famous that we have done is uh, we were, I can't remember, I'm not good at remembering names, so forgive me. But we're at this one place, and I got captured, and I found out that the king was dead. And I got captured, and I was gonna pretty much get killed, and I was chained up, and my arms were bound, and I think my feet were bound. So I'm laying on this floor in front of somebody, and he's pretty much telling the guards that are around him the murderer was right there in front of me, and I was like, or something. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it's funny. Um, so I'm talking to somebody, and they're not believing what I'm saying and stuff like that. And finally, I just hop up, and I'm sitting there making rolls, making rolls, making rolls, getting what I need. And I'm just sitting there screaming, "The king is dead! The king is dead!" And I smash out a window, land in a bush. Then I'm sitting there trying to do locksmith and friggin' slip out of some stuff and friggin' uh, like trying to just get out of these chains. And I'm sitting there in that bush for like 3 hours, sitting there trying to just get out of the chains. Finally, I get out of the chains and I'm booking it down the freaking road, just screaming, "The king is dead! The king is dead!" And stuff like that. So it's just really fun to play a bard just because of that. Just because you can, you know, people expect bards to be more charismatic than a normal paladin or a fighter would be. Because normally you go into a bar and everybody's like talking and stuff, but they're not really talking to each other. Then you get the stereotypical bard to come in there, and he's like playing a song and stuff, and freaking doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Um, but yeah, my character's name was Chefie, so that was the most creative thing I could come up with at the time. So I was Chefie, and then I had like two more characters named Chefie, and then because I'm a chef, I had a couple of people named after like food, like Pico de Gallo. I named one Pico. So I had another crazy guy. I can't remember. I think he was a bard. He may have been a no. I had a wizard. I killed him off. Well, he got killed off, and then I had another bard. And how it happened was, if you go to Dungeon Master Blobe's Dungeon Delve series, he had this one that was talking about going down under to a dwarven city that's been abandoned, and these little things were chasing us around and stuff. And that's how my wizard died. He died because of one of them. Well, I was stuck under, my new character was stuck under, like trapped under there in a dungeon. And I've been in there for like forever. All I had to wear, I was naked at first, and I kept on killing rats and making pelts out of, like making a loincloth out of the rat skin. And they come in, and I'm sitting there eating rat, and there's a little cockroach right there on my shoulder. And he was my companion for a long time. Finally, they got him killed off, or he got killed off because of old age. He died of old age. But just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. I don't really play D&D to get into the fights. Like they're fun and stuff, but I play it for the talking. Like I've had a whole bunch of serious conversations where in game, me and another player have like had long conversations of me trying to talk the other player out of doing something or like coming up with strategic plans to do other things and stuff like that. So it's really fun. But yeah, I never really played to just go in there head first and do stuff. Now, one time in my dark history, way deep dark into my freaking, way down into the depths where Cthulhu lives, there was a time where I was part of an assassin clan, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good, my friends, because I think I was dual classing as a bard slash rogue or trying to become assassin, because I was playing Assassin's Creed pretty much. So this assassin had me going and doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I was trying to like sneak around in this, and I should have, because I'm always praising Ogma. He's my number one god in D&D. So I technically should have got kicked out of the religion for doing this because, like, you're supposed to find knowledge and stuff like that, and you're supposed to write down a book, or write down a tome of some sort every year, and you're supposed to like take care of other musicians and artists and stuff like that. So here we go. I was in this alley, and there was this Krieg, I think it's called. It's like a little grasshopper-looking guy. Came up, and he kept on annoying me, and I was like very angry at the time. But he kept on annoying me, and keep on messing with me and stuff like that. And finally, he pulls out a violin and he tries to play it, and I take the violin, I smash it, and then I freaking pick him up, and I think I rip off his wings or break his legs or something like that, and throw him down on the ground, and everybody freaking raged on me, and pretty much I should have, because I always play a neutral bard or a neutral good bard, um, or good, neutral, whatever. Anyways, so I should have been like freaking put down in chaotic neutral or something like that. So yeah, it was a dark time, very dark time. I felt so bad about it, and freaking my group won't let me live it down. So yeah. What else? Pretty much whenever you play Bard, if you're wanting to do nothing but storyline, the the adventures are endless. Like I've played, I'm assuming it was a god, but I've played for a god before. Like played my loot for a god to get a wish cookie. Um, what else? I can't remember. I think I played with Ogma or Ogma. Ogma had some kind of attention on me because I was playing so good at one point. I can't remember if it was him or not. Eh, dog's chewing on a shoe. So like you can get a lot of attention from a lot of people playing a paladin because you killed like a giant monster. You can get some stuff for being a fighter, all that good stuff. But nothing is as glorious as being a bard. I don't care what anybody says. So, as always, I think I'm going to call this an end. Because I can't think of any more stories. And if I do, I'll make another video, part 2 bard. So, that's pretty much all the characters that I played. Like the wizard, he was a little bit more serious. I had one, this was while I was playing, or watching Supernatural. I had one sorcerer that was kind of like whenever Sam had the demon kind of inside of him, or like what is it? Something where uh, Sam and Dean's mom made a deal with the devil or something, and Dean had like a demon or something. I can't remember. Anyways, it's been a long time since I watched Supernatural, so I made this one guy that pretty much had a demon inside of him, telling him what to do and what not to do and stuff like that. And sometimes he was helpful, sometimes he was a hindrance. And then, I made a couple wizards. Wizards are hard to play, but they're pretty fun to play too. Um, but anyways, as always, guys, stay beautiful, stay sexy, and praise Ogma. Have a great night, and I love you guys.